lags a little bit, but probably if EDG were super keen to go into this map, if the preparation was there, something has to change incredibly fast and adapt if they want to take this to map 3.
This is going to be quite fascinating to see how this, you know, crumbles or potentially rises up for both of the teams here. This is going to be really, really fun to watch, and good thing is we're going to jump right into the action, and let's send it back over to Mitch and Tom.
Thank you so much to our wonderful analyst desk once again. As Map 2 is about to kick off, we're going into bind, Tom, and we've seen some comp changes. I'm excited to see what Forsaken has planned on the Harbor.
Yeah, it's something that they've run through in the past, and I think obviously we saw them have combinations with Gecko. We've also seen them run a similar comp with a Sky, but obviously Sky's kind of gone downhill a little bit, so they've gone with the Fade instead. But these are all agents that they've run on this map before. It's just this combination that I think is a little bit different. Of course, something on this map on Reyna, it doesn't matter the map, I'll be honest. He's always terrifying.
Yeah, something is just an element of his own. I think Reyna in general, my least favorite agent, but there's certain players that can make me enjoy watching her. Life was one, and something certainly is another. Good control over the site, but long is left open for the side of PRX. They don't know that EDG have 2 players still stacked up there, but it looks like they want to take some control of their own, pushing through the spawn smoke in towards Elbow. Players caught them though. The rear rotate through the spawn has led to a very awkward position. These defenders are scattered, but they can crunch.
It's left it. Still back down to a 3v3. Already another kill coming through. PRX, that W key hasn't been let go of for the majority of this round, and now with an advantage device still left behind. I don't even think they know that he's here, and with the smoke fading, it's an impossible crossfire to come back from. Chaos in the pistol round, but of course, that's where PRX live.
Yeah, chaos is exactly the right word. I mean, that was a hard one for me, looking at all the players on the mini-map. I can see everything, and you're still trying to put together the pieces as they chop and change different parts of the map control. But I can only imagine what that looks like from EDG's perspective. You just do not know what the next step from PRX's dance is going to be. 1-0. This attacking side has found their legs. Now they've got some rifles to play with, 1 pistol, and that's going to be on something. While EDG don't decide to invest very much at all. 2 sheriffs, and they'll try to find value by taking that orb early on B. Perhaps even push down on Bathroom to grab another. We'll see.
He's just going through it, isn't it? Yeah, of course he is. He was surprised by that. The opponents definitely weren't. They were already waiting for something to take a risk. Of course, he was only with a pistol in this round. Cove actually going out just to try and clear the close angles and go above it. They are taking some casualties, and actually a weapon has been found. Chichu, though, is desperately low on health. Can he find anything more? Yes, he can! He's already got a second! Stuck reloading, though, a little bit unlucky. A nice attempt from Chichu, and again, a round that shouldn't even have been remotely close.
No, not even 1% of what we saw there. I mean, this is just ridiculous. EDG certainly have some fight left in them, and the best part about it is that one of the most valuable ultimates comes online because of that. Chichu now has an orbital strike to play with. This could be big for this squad. And I think for PRX, they've got to be kicking themselves. Sure, the initial fight, something goes ahead of the smoke, gets caught off guard, but he had a pistol. It's whatever. Yeah, ideally, you'd have another player beside, whatever. We can look past it. But everything from that point forward was a domino that never should have fallen.
Well, luckily for them, Forsaken did also do a lot of damage, so he's going to have the Reckoning online.
Something is exciting me with an outlaw on Arena.
You're talking about that. I'm looking at Munyet with the Bucky. It's a deadly combination. First kill going the way, but the space already been taken. And of course, the Reckoning just gives him all the information. Look how close up this man is going to be able to get, just cause them issues. This buy, not a particularly good one, but now in the afterplant, very scary.
Oh yeah. This is where EDG can't really afford to swing an angle out in the open. There's not much of a choice. Looks like Orbital Strike being online early is going to be used to try and give them an advantage, but it pushes the bookie forward into their arms. And that's not where you want this to be. Up close and personal. Munyet has a bit of a timing to worry about. These players on the other side, I mean, if one of them sees him, he's in a lot of trouble, but he's made it out. Something's grabbed another from far away, and it's as easy as could be. Already tagging up Con with a classic. Wow, that is quite the 3rd round for PRX. After what I saw in the 2nd and in the 1st, I don't know where I am. I'm losing it.
He's just got to kill with a Bucky and a Classic in the same round versus a 4-buy. These are the rounds as well that just shake you. Like, you're going into a map that has been strong for you within your region, strong for you historically, EDG, but you've just been owned immediately by an Outlaw, a Bucky, and a Classic. Like, you can't really feel good about a round like that.
It's so ridiculous. As long as a teammate's done damage or they're on half shields, this guy's able to one-shot you and immediately get out of there. I mean, you're already moving quick with an Outlaw. It's already buffed, but he's just going doubling down on it. PRX 3-0, but EDG managed to upset them down to just one player left with a lot less. And oh, he's gone through.
Between.
That's perfect, like a scene out of Ocean's 12.
The smoke is Haldong. Managed to get one. The Boombot's done a significant amount of damage, but he's still in the corner. They haven't spotted him. Still just surviving now. Chichu's found another as well. I don't know how these rounds are going down in the fashion they are. Haldong still alive! How has no one cleared this man? He's been in the same position! And then they've got him flawlessly! That was a MasterCard Thrifty, by the way, guys. That was a MasterCard Thrifty.
These guys are all right with weak weapons, it looks like.
They're better!
Why do they even buy rifles? Look at this! 20 HP! Just once again, 20 HP! And another player comes out. He misses the first shot, immediately correct. This is disgusting. It's disgusting.
I can't believe
it's
it.
It's filthy. You can't do that, like.
Well then,
Unfathomable.
That is one way to get on the board. Yeah, cool. I'm gonna try and forget that happened and just move on with my life. Both teams now do have a bye. Munyet going to be taking the space. This time he is caught, but not really anybody available to capitalize off the back of it. And they're using that Cove again just to take initial space. They're not stopping, though. Running straight in onto Smoggy. I think that was Munyet battling for the sport.
It was. Yeah, he was going all the way through. He's being caught, but Mindfreak catching nobody. This is a big kill. They've got an extra angle to fight from that someone has to deal with, and Haldong, this man's an enigma. Nobody's ever looking at him when he swings an angle. I don't get it. But at least it's down to Chichu. Low HP on Mindfreak and Forsaken, but the post plant is the real danger. They can run that clock down, peeking one at a time and ensuring that spike is not diffused. 4-1 for PRX. Surely this is where we return to normality.
Good one.
Yeah, 2 showstoppers online. I don't know what the hell I'm thinking.
Don't forget the Empress as well.
Oh, wow. Oh, yes, you're so, well, to be fair, it is something.
Yeah,
you're actually right.
It is the one and only time that actually makes sense. I can't, like, Haldong's just run through into a Molotov to try and get that kill. It is like, who can make the riskiest play of the round? And at the moment, I feel like the only person losing is me.
Losing my mind. Look, EDG, they've called a pause, and I pity their coaching staff. You sat there, it must feel like you've turned up for like 6th grade exams and you're a 1st grader. It's like, what the hell am I watching? My mind doesn't work at a high enough level to understand the chaos unfolding in front of us. For EDG, well, let's hope they've got an idea of the tweaks that need to be made here. It's only 4-1, but we saw PRX run away with it in the first half last map, and despite EDG having a big resurgence, they were never really able to find their feet. This has to be a different story for them.
Yeah, this is the thing. It's not only the fact that you have to try and quell what has been some of the paciest rounds you've ever seen. You almost have to utility dump instantly, otherwise you're going to lose the site, and you're probably going to lose your spawn. But then you also have to look at the guys on the other side of the stage and realize they're just giggling to themselves. At a Masters event, the opportunities, you need 2 wins and you get top 4. And those guys are just having fun.
You know, it's something you said earlier on, Tom. The fact is, you know, EDG, you lose this, you go, okay, well, PRX, maybe they are actually legit. You know, it's the region is sick. Sure, Gen G had managed to best them in the final, but it is what it is. You can still estimate them as a top team. You can end up coming up against Loud.
Yeah.
With potential elimination on the line. That's not a comfortable position for anyone to be in.
That's the thing. There are no easy games. Here goes Munyet again. It's a martyrdom.
Headshot. 5
The
assists.
showstopper. He's taken down nobody and himself. Look at where something is, though. He's just walked out onto the side. He's just got no fear. Even going to get himself healed back up. Kankan must be surprised. And finally, Smoggy will put him down with the trade immediate. An advantage once again garnered for PRX, and the remaining players are going to have to hope for a timing. But actually, timing could go either way. It's all going to be on to whether or not Mindfreak is looking in the right direction, and they both win their battles. It's now left on to just Devi, but one player is very low, and he's already going to clear him.
Oh, Devi's gone out ahead of it as well. That's expected, and Haodong lands the shot. This time someone was looking at him, but he still wins the fight. As a round will be found for EDG, that gap not going to be extending. PRX have an opponent hot on their heels. I mean, the other thing for PRX as well, coming into this round, you've got some weakness, really. It's just Munyet after going down so early in the last one. But the reality is, he should be in a pretty decent position, still rocking a... Well, actually, I saw a Judge bot up earlier. He's going to go for a stinger. But the weaknesses aren't too massive. It's more so the ult economy. Smoggy's got a showstopper, and nobody has a Hunter's Fury to play with. Big ultimates for that defensive side. Big safety nets to fall into.
I'm still just nervous seeing something pick up on the operator on that attack. We've already seen the Outlaw. Now you get the big brother.
The thing is, you know, although the damage is going to be lower on the Outlaw, right? Kind of need the headshot on the swing. It's going to be much harder to post up on those angles with the op to get in and get out. And we saw him,
if you're not something. True,
for most people. I should always put that in front of them. For most people, that would be the issue.
We've watched him do it on Gecko in the last, on attack side, just single-handedly take out a team. So now he actually has some movement benefit. Even still, though. EDG really needing to string a couple of rounds together. It's been an eco and a problematic round, and Munyet, no trouble finding that opener. Nightfall has deafened their opponents, making things that little bit more problematic in terms of working out how far forward they've gotten. The high tide has cleared so much space, and you also have the Cove, but now that utility fades, they don't have much to play with at all. In fact, I don't think they have any smokes left.
Trying to sell it as a pump fake, but it doesn't look like EDG are buying it. Orbital strike, Smoggy's in the open, but he's caught one. That spike down, and the ult used, the Hunter's Fury, finding targets. Oh, they're so low. And with Smoggy down, the numbers on the side of EDG are good. They still have a 2v2 with 10 seconds left. All they have to do is deny the spike being picked up. And Haodong, he gives the space. 6 seconds as they make it towards the side. What a shot! Haodong! How did he manage that? He's won it off the clock alone. And if that came down to a 1v1 with something, I don't think he's winning it. But he avoided it altogether. Beautiful play.
I'll be honest, I was scared when he let the spike go. Well, when he let it go, I was like, that's a risk that I don't know if it's worth taking, but hey, he was ready for them to try and plant in the safest spot possible and just hits a crazy wallback. This is just a fear factor, though. Just what something can do, even in the most awkward fights possible. Again, though, the rounds the EDG have won is off the back of pistols and 2 1v1 clutches out of that man on your screen.
4-3. Yeah, it looks like a really close score line, but wow, they've been hanging on to that cliff's edge. For the start of this, we hear some sheriffs firing off. You know there's weaknesses there. But they also know that the big gun was saved through. They've spotted it, and they've taken Munyet down as well. For something, he's not going to find any players out in the open giving free kills away. And that op, I mean, I don't know if you're going to be able to save it through to the next. He'll have to create his own opportunities.
Back towards that B side they go. Corner held, so something that would need to be hard cleared from the side of PRX, and the read already in from EDG. Third player already into position. I felt like there'd have to be some pretty big errors over on the other side. You can see the passive angles that are being held. The knife even going to give them a fair amount of information. They know there's a couple of players waiting here, even ready to invest the orbital strike if they need it. They want to try and make this one clean. It has been a lot of close rounds. Even still, though, something gets the opener, but is there anything more to be had? It's not looking too likely. I don't know how he's still alive here, finally. the dancing something will go down, and Kankan rises to the occasion. It's 4-4. Obviously not the strongest buy for PRX, but it's more important for EDG to finally have a clean round.
Well, 100%, yeah. I think the orbital strike here saves them so much trouble. You got something going out, but he's essentially alone when he emerges from long. These players can't come to meet him. Divide was low after a spam, very quickly taken down. Kankan hitting some shots. That could be the confidence builder as well. Yeah, he had a really rough first map. One of the tougher maps for him. And even here, it wasn't off to a flying start. He had 2 kills before that round just there. Now, you hear the screams, you hear them get hyped up, and hopefully they'll be able to pull this across the line.
Interestingly, he was always the player picking up that operator, even it didn't matter what agent he was on. We saw it on a Gecko in the past, but it does seem like the mantle has been passed over to Smoggy, which makes me a little bit sad. Maybe it's just for the early peak. Might be just going for something a little bit more aggressive in this round, and obviously having that extra movement to try and get out of there. On the other side, though, we are seeing that Reckoning. Now, this was one of the major issues in some of the early rounds, is that Reckoning for Forsaken. It just is filthy. It gives all the information and causes chaos.
Makes sense as well for Kankan not to be running that operator.
Sure.
Just because even last round, right, the reason they're so stacked up on B, because they started to rotate to A, but the knife found 2 players inside hookah. That's when they pull out the orbital strike. That's when they pull the rotates to B, and they're ready for that blitz out. PRX ran into a stack because of him. So if he goes down early, just trying to get an op pick, you lose so much in the late round. If Smoggy goes down, well, it's all right. You're not losing any massively important utility. And that's if he goes down. Some control over bathroom and B long. The extremities of the map belong to EDG, but PRX have their sights set on moving through this A site, which was another element of why the rotates didn't come through, because there's always this utility there from Haodong.
Still going. They are all the way outside of Showers, and that'll be Mind Freak down. A big loss in the early round. Haodong fighting within the cages, within the Reckoning, and he'll lose his life for it. Maybe a little bit of an overextension, but with 1 controller down and Forsaken's utility already expended, this doesn't leave them with much. In fact, they're going to go pushing. Something trying to do everything on his own, and now with them pretty much boxed in, I don't know if PRX have a hope in hell of getting out of this.
Certainly not if they play aggressive. We can see that with the crossfire, the triple crossfire, backing up by an op, but they've made the right call. Instead, hightailing it to the other side of the map where they could be able to get a plant down. It's the post plant that's worrying. And the advantage here goes to EDG, 4 versus 2. At least long control is going to be sought after, but a shot dart well placed puts Divide down to 60. Another disadvantage to play with. And the TP was heard. Smoggy is the one TPing. That's a little bit of a head scratcher with the operator. But he's holding down that control. I guess we'll be going in to take control of hookah.
It's the doubt as well. Like, he's not necessarily moving too quickly. It's just the doubt in his opponent's mind. They have to face the other direction as well. Damage done by Divide, but not quite enough. Forsaken needs to pull off an absolute miracle on low HP, and it's not going to be happening this time out. After being blitzed in the first few rounds, EDG now take the lead.
And that's the road to recovery we were hoping to see for this defensive side. 4-1 down to 5-4. And a lot of things going right for them. They're starting to get that control over the map, and even seeing nobody right now has 1 kill. He had so many high impact plays on the previous map, but they're still able to put these rounds on the board. And I think Haodong's setup, really, there hasn't been a solution from the side of PRX. A couple times they've been able to send Monyet in, and he's able to make it ahead of these traps, just barely dodging them. I can almost hear the Alamont playing in the background, but now they're starting to get caught because these traps are moving. They're in different positions each time, and that setup just isn't one that you can go blitzing into, which is what PRX very much like to do.
And it's what they're going to do again. Early nade over the top will actually clear out the trip. Trying to adapt themselves. Again, though, don't have any ultimates online. Showstopper and the null command. The trip, the second one, though, is superb. Kankan going to get a free kill. Haodong again, though. An audacious attempt trying to catch them off guard. Chichu not taking the same risk. Waiting for a little bit of support. And already they're going to counter out anything on the other side with that null command.
Yeah, no danger of those more aggressive flashes coming through, or of something taking your sight away. Not leering onto them. No smokes for Mind Freak as he's down and out, and Divide does well to at least find 1, but that player is resable. And, well, that could pull Devi out into the open to attempt to deny. Down to a 4 versus 1 with 11 HP, and he's even detected. Got ahead of the op at least, so damage will be done. But there's still 3 more players waiting for him. Spike in Forsaken's possession, at least. And now I've ran out of positives.
He was trying to pull a rotation with the TP, but nobody never left that B site. It's going to get a free duel, though. It's starting to get a little bit messy for the side of EDG. They've given up a couple of kills, not quite knowing where he is. The time is the issue, and more so, nobody on the flank. Like, to get anything here, you'd need pretty much a miracle once more. Just trying to find a safe place to plant, and that doesn't exist. Nobody's going to be coming in from behind. Chicho with the wall bang, and it will be EDG extending that lead even further.
It's 5 in a row. The timeline looking convincing. They've come up with solutions, and this comp gives them so much to fall back on. The ult out of Concon, you can see why you want him alive late into the round, even as he gets rezzed back up, immediately lobs out the knife, and finds exactly where that final player is, nullifying any potential for Forsaken to catch them off guard. With 6-4 on the scoreline, that's when PRX might even have called a pause coming into this round, but they haven't. And there's a lot of weaknesses for them. This is again going to be somewhere they hope to just blitz. The wall up to block out the dart is beautiful, but they still have to swing in to Smoggy. And that's where the real trouble begins.
Yeah. Oh! Okay. You can't give something anything! And the bait across as well from Monye is gorgeous. Finally, they managed to deal with him. Something down. And now they've gone for the TP, but this is somewhat of a ruse. They've left Monye behind. It seems like it's being watched for, but the other 2 players looking to try and head potentially into the A site. Only 1 defender and a second slowly being pulled in.
2 smokes for Mindfreak. Could lob one on A to cause problems. You can see there's one in play, but now the second comes down, and it's buying space for Monye to close the distance. Stinger in hand. This is a perfect fight for him to take, but he goes into the smoke at the wrong moment. 2 players ready and waiting. Molly through. That'll buy time, buy space that they now need. The advantage sits with EDG. Little tag onto Mindfreak. It's okay. Smoke down as he repositions, but ultimately a kill needs to be found before EDG can amp back up to fight through. They're inside the cage, the flash is good, and the kills are even better. Absolutely gorgeous. Another late round where you see the benefit of having Concon online.
Yes.
That flash was clinical.
Yeah, his utility's been fantastic. Again, showing depth to what is a player we know can run around and outgun pretty much anyone within the scene, but he's been in the setup. This is just,
What?
it's just so absurd. And then a second one, it just shouldn't be allowed. They must be happy they killed him through the smoke, because otherwise I think something might have just aced that round.
Yeah, with the way he was going, to headshot someone with a sheriff, double blast packed up in the air. That's just outrageous carry on from this man, but it is par for the course. At the same time, despite some nice shots from something and a decent map overall, it's still 7-4. The advantage now doubled up on in this final round for EDG. They've claimed an orb and an orbital strike on the back of it. Chichu will have that to work with if they end up in a post plant, but hold on to fight. They're rushing it down, trying to take these duels. In fact, it's Chichu who has the ult that's now left on 30 HP. Panic plays it just to buy a little bit more time so they can fight on the side, and it works with Concon hitting a shot and Chichu doing the same. There's no long push anymore. Chichu, oh my god, those bullets are coming so damn close, but they think he's dropped out now. They've spammed too much for him to still be in position, and he might just get the jump with a second player behind him as well. They're going to emerge from the smoke. Chichu, the sacrificial lamb, and a trade through the smoke, and he almost doubles up on it. Concon is shut down though, and we're into a 2v2.
He's managed to dodge it. He's always been a snake in the grass, and he gets the timing perfectly online. The tags on both sides. It goes to the repeat to give Smoggy the kill. From a 4-1 down deficit, it has been a complete turnaround for EDG. 8 rounds now onto the board, and what a ridiculous resurgence it's been from the Chinese powerhouse.
Well, Haodong has been impressive, sneaking his way behind these players again and again. It's time for us to toss it over to the analyst desk to see what they make of EDG's chances.
I mean, EDG's chances looking pretty solid so far if they keep playing like that, Kakuka.
Yeah, exactly. I think that there's been so many like turnarounds. We were seeing how they were interpreting the map, how they have all these ways of acquiring that information, but they were committing the same mistake that they were making in the previous map, and it's leaving PRX with a lot of space. Then they will take it, they will use it against you, and that is the reason why they were getting on those rounds. But Haodong, as we were saying, and as Mitch was highlighting, he was key to the turnaround, not only because of the clutches that he won, is actually being at the exact right moment, right time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you see numerous moments him holding down for the showers control, making it really awkward for PRX to try and go for that big A exec that was working all the time in the first half, basically, the first half of the first half. And he was just an absolute monster. I mean, an absolute difference maker. But got to give credit to EDG with the right adaptations in terms of their macro ideas. They decided to push up the aggressive op into angles, out through showers, out through B-long at the same time. Haodong was contributing, doing his piece as well. Really good moves by EDG to recognize what those weaknesses were, and they've set themselves up now with an 8-4. I mean, after losing a pistol round, it's almost unheard of. This is a dominant half by EDG, and they're going to be going into the next now, almost setting themselves up for that map 3.
Yeah, exactly. And on the other side, we saw a PRX that started up super well, very aggressive, you know, a lot of good utility, the shotguns, everything was going
doing
a little
the things
bit
that we know them to do.
Exactly, the things that PRX like. But I didn't see the effect that probably the Reyna was intended to have, so I need to see what they intend to do with the defense. Are they going to be extra aggressive? Are they going to put a lot of pressure onto EDG? And if that happens, what is going to be EDG's response? I think that, again, we look at Haodong on the Cypher. If those pushes are going to come in, of course, we need to keep a close eye on our flanks.
Yeah, and you know, listen, I'm with you. I want to see some aggression. I want to see PRX just come out of the gate, punch him in the mouth, see what happens.
I think you will.
You have to.
Yes.
I feel like you have to at this point. Otherwise, you're kidding yourself here. We'll see what PRX can pull up together. 2 rounds, they're right back in this bad boy. But EDG don't want to give him that time of day. Let's send it back over to Mitch and Tom.
Well, GB wants to see PRX come hot out of the gates, punch him right in the mouth. That's what he said, Tom. Are you expecting to see that face after such a devastating first half?
Yes.
You're getting it anyways.
Yes. Just immediately be short is being pressured. We're going to see some utility faked out, but again, they're just going to go running back. The thing is, the slow pace of EDG in the last map might just run true again, being patient, try and garner extra space. There is a nade available for Munyet to slow them down, but once more, it's not just going to be the immediate run-through. Almost a complete opposite to what we saw from PRX.
EDG are extremely patient, perhaps knowing that if you leave that clock run down low enough, PRX are going to get aggressive. Now, TP is heard towards A, steps are made, but the flank is underway. Trap is watching it. That's something for them to work on. And the trap is destroyed. Here comes a quick triple blitz on the back as the players desperately hold on to control over the site. Reinforcements are on their way and just now arriving, but a quick switch from EDG sends them towards the defender spawn. And Forsaken somehow stands strong inside of Lambs. 4 kills on the Frenzy. And another pistol round for PRX. Normally, Tom, this is where we'd be getting the violins out for EDG. They lost the pistol to start with. They lost the 3rd round to follow up. And now they lost another pistol. For most teams, that's a death sentence. Yet here they are with a 3-round lead.
Yeah, I think Forsaken, just with his frenzy, unable to isolate the jewels with him, and he's just able to take everything over the line. A much-needed pistol for the side of PRX if they are going to have an opportunity to try and turn this one back around. We've seen EDG, though, do an awful lot with very, very little. But this would have to be one of the best of them.
Well, that pretty much puts a pin in that one. He still has another bullet. That was a collat to start us off. A little bit of a longer reload now that he's fired both shots, but he's right back into the fight just in time to catch Concon. The ace, well, it's not going to happen. Device swept in to steal it away, but you know what? Forsaken's already got his ult online, so he doesn't really need any more kills. Might as well give them to someone else. I don't know. Munyet with a showstopper? That sounds good, but that's only his first orb to find. 8-6.
He has done that in both halves. Forsaken has gone in with his ult in round 3, which kind of makes you think maybe he hasn't done that much else for the rest. Because if you're getting enough kills to get your ult in round 3 twice. But keeping these rounds nice and clean, and again, it's a flawless round to put PRX in a pretty decent spot. I am looking at their 2 duelist players both having a judge for this round. I feel like if you're on the EDG side, you've got to be so damn careful. Now, they normally are. I'll give them that. They're normally very slow, methodical, using their utility. But I feel like avoiding both of these players is not going to be easy.
No, most certainly not. Just taking a look at EDG real quick as well. Damage doesn't even need to be done to Chichu before he goes down to that Outlaw of Forsaken. And I think that's something that we'll see manifesting in how this round breathes. That Smoker can't be the one that's going out to take those wide approaches, to check angles. Instead, it's got to be much slower, relying on things like your Sova drone, your recons to clear those angles. Forsaken is posted up and ready to duel, same spot as before. And for EDG, that could spell a disaster. Add to that, as you said, Tom, they've got to be careful of those judges. Mindfreak is not being caught, and so they'll look for the B site control, and that's when they walk straight into Munyet. He's crept down behind the box and pops up for a nasty surprise.
Yeah, doesn't even need to switch out the weapon, really. Will eventually do it and be able to escape as well, but Forsaken has been lost. Munyet's done well. There isn't really a reaction either. There has been a push through. I'm just looking at the position that's been taken from Howdong. He's completely in behind. They've left a gap, and that gap has been exploited. Such good positioning from him. A quick rotation looking to come back through from the other side. Howdong taking as much space as possible, but this battle between Mindfreak and Chichu is going to be everything. And again, Chichu just getting in behind his opponent. The advantage swinging into the favor of this attacking side. Sure, it's a bonus, but for a second it was looking really dangerous.
Dangerous indeed, yeah. In fact, it looked like they had it more or less locked down. But again, it's Howdong to bail EDG. On this map, he has just been spectacular. In Spectre form almost. Never are these players able to actually take the fight on the open, take the duel against him. He's always slipping behind. 9-6, and it's PRX slipping behind now. 3 rounds down.
Yeah, a nice recovery from them. And again, it's been mentioned, you're looking at Howdong on the leaderboard, you're like, oh, he's having an all right game, but his impact has been paramount. Like the amount of space he took there, cleared out Something's aggressive position, because that was the thing. Something was cleverly sort of moving himself further and further forward, sort of cause issues for his opponents, but then gets caught from the one spot that wasn't really checked on. 9-6. Still plenty available for this round. You can see the operator in onto Something. Judge still online. Mal making sure that there's nobody in this aggressive position. Now the Prowler is going to give things away. Nobody is going to wait in the TP. I don't know how long this is going to stay for.
Well, I mean, nobody's had a tough game. Last map, I'm thinking he had a 4K, a 3K, a 2K. Right now, he has 1K. 1 kill on the board for this whole half. And he was bailing them out of these situations that now Howdong is taking up that mantle. Again, 9-6 in the lead. Couldn't give a damn if you have 0 kills. But for nobody, I want to see him bring that back out. We know it's in the tank at some stage. For PRX right now, as we said, there's Munyet on the Judge. They're going to be respecting that because we've seen it last round. It had huge impact. He was able to dominate control over this section of the map. EDG must have another idea on how to play that part. And in fact, they go towards B. They see all this utility come their way. And they're starting to maneuver their way back towards the A site, which has thinned out slightly.
The Reckoning, though, we're getting down to the last 30 seconds. Going in this direction will leave them with not a lot really to play with. They're going to try and just almost run their way through it, but they're slowly being revealed every single time they try and make their way through. Finally, the Reckoning will fade, but Mindfreak now in position. A cove for Forsaken to try and almost fight within, and they are falling like flies. Forsaken winning every battle, leaving just Chichu remaining. 8 seconds and 5 members of the other team still to find. There is no shot that he gets anything from this one, and finally, well, Munyet will fall, but Divide immediate on the reaction.
Yeah, you know, initially I thought Forsaken's probably put out the Reckoning because when they push on the side of EDG, they're like, well, first of all, information. Secondly, when they push, they're likely to be blitzing in towards that position. Utility coming his way if Chichu gets an orbital strike, but Smoggy could be on you in a second. In fact, I think he just put it out so he could farm up some orbs and pick it up. He's almost halfway to having it online again. Just a lights out performance from Forsaken, but still 2 rounds behind. EDG, weaker weapons. This is where they've been scary at times, and an orbital strike online, as we mentioned. So still a lot of danger if this attack side can find ground.
Forsaken looking for a little bit of early control, and the same from Something. Starting to really lock down avenues of the map. You can see Divide doing the same on the extremities of B. does leave a little bit more of an opening, but the thing is, Munyet has completely switched up his position. He was playing the Judge over the last couple of rounds. The flash is sublime once again from Kankan, unfortunately unable to really capitalize on it.
Haodong again! How does he keep doing this? It's unfathomable. This is a classic lure. I've seen Nats do that, but he had an orb and a wall. Oh, come on! Again and again, 2 kills for Haodong, and I said they've been scary. They're goddamn terrifying. Forsaken, he's held this position with a frenzy, but that was against pistols.
They know where
And he is completely surrounded. What? Nice spray. It was Divide to finish it off, but Haodong has a 3rd kill. He started this with a goddamn classic.
1 enemy remaining.
Wow. And there's only 1 man left. It is going to be Haodong. It is going to be another MasterCard Thrifty, that I'll be honest, makes absolutely no sense.
What's going on?
A man switch over to. Yeah, I like the representation you use. We've seen Nats do that. Nats a great cipher. I don't know if we've seen him just manage to walk his way down mid. And that was the thing, that was some initial pressure there from Forsaken, really watching for this spot, but he just catches a timing every single time. It is absurd how well this man is playing. Well, maybe a little bit of frustration for PRX. 10-7 in the lead, and while I hope that is a leather-bound notepad, otherwise it's going to be snapped in two.
You know, it's an interesting contrast as well, because if we think back to half number 1, the real issue that PRX ran into, again, I think they got lucky with some of the rounds where Munyet was able to bypass the utility. It could have been an opening pick for the side. But one of the main challenges that they had was playing up against Haodong's utility, was having this guy consistently being able to put through these traps that are slowing you down, and it was the A site that he was holding onto control of. And how poetic that when they swap sides, it's Haodong coming through and going, yeah, you know, you should probably play the agent I'm playing, guys, because I can just walk up behind you if you don't. It's unreal how much space he's found. He did it on A bat. He now has done it on Lamps with a classic and nothing else. I don't know what else he can do to surprise his opponents, but I'm certain that he will be doing more of this because the consistency is off the charts.
Yeah, and it's got to be infuriating for PRX. A way back into the map with your opponents on a weak buy, and you lose to 1 man in his classic. A free gun, by the way. Yeah. I think it was his spacing more than anything else. Look at the aggression, though. This is the W gaming we were expecting to see, an immediate push all the way down B long, but again, it doesn't really come with any rewards. Having to fall back and use and burn a lot of utility in the early stages of these rounds, and they've won neither of those fights. Kankan, he's got both in his locker, just takes down the duo of PRX, but it does turn out it was a trio. There was a 3rd piece to the puzzle, unfortunately. Munyet is now just sat in a corner with a judge.
And the very best of luck to him in the battle to come. Because by the looks of it, that judge is going to have to find 5 players. EDG are in a 5v3 with no intentions of being picked off individually. They're moving together, making their way into this site. There's a drone, and that's really the...
Oh, giving him a gap.
Oh, hold on. He might actually be in the position to get this. They've spotted him, and only 1. Perfect from EDG.
Yeah, nice work. I like the idea from Forsaken. Just create a little pocket in the corner that he can hide with him, but I think the fact that he shoots at Smoggy somewhat gives the game away. Might have been spotted anyway. And for Mindfreak, there's not really much he can do but to just try and save something. The real problem, though, is that this wasn't... you might be looking at this and thinking, oh, well, the way that round went, it was probably a low buy. No, that was everything. PRX threw the kitchen sink at that one and have now just got to try and hold on to this rifle. An 11th round for EDG inevitable, and I don't know if they're going to have much to play with in the next round. Luckily, both teams... also something, has been able to do a lot with these low buys. So maybe we'll get something magical once again, but it is at the stage now where PRX need it.
Well, EDG with 11 on the board, a 4-round lead, and 2 rounds to close this one out. Bring us to split. And it'd be a nice swap over. You know, the shoes on the other foot. As EDG lost 13-8, PRX might be losing 13-7. You said They invested everything in that last one. They do come out of it with still 2 ultimates to work with. Monyet and Devi will have something, and you know what, literally their teammate, but they'll have those ults to work with. A couple rifles, stingers there.
They're going to rush
Tom,
mid.
it's not looking great, but the element of surprise is the best thing that they can hope to rely on.
It's not surprising at this point, though. They haven't had much more in terms of depth. Mindfreak's going to get one, but that's all she wrote. Look how ready EDG were. I know you've got a slightly lower buy. I wonder what you're going to do, lads. I wonder if you're going to push something. Just the cam out immediately from Haodong to get his team ready, and then everybody, the firing squad, just watching. Very easy round for EDG, and sure, something's still standing. He's gone as well. Smoggy winning that fight out once again. And what can Devi really hope to achieve here? Left with a close range SMG and 4 full HP players.
Well, GB wanted to see PRX on this defense come out with aggression, just punch him in the mouth, but they've ended out more like Aldo. 5 chances now for EDG to close this map.
Turns out they had grills. That's what it is. They punched them in the mouth and it's left an indent in their own hand.
And this is exactly what you're talking about, Tom. Like at this stage of the game, you're just like, oh, are PRX pushing? Oh, wow, I'm shocked. And no way. Protocols are there, they're ready. EDG a step ahead on Bind. This was a map that we had some question marks around. Playing against PRX on this, I would say, before this, it's never easy. But EDG are certainly trying to make that look like a foolish statement.
Oh, especially you lose both pistols and you're 12-7 up. That's a damn good showing. And they've had some rounds as well where something popped off and they've managed to weather that storm. It's something that many teams have tried and many teams have failed. And within their matchup versus PRX, it's never gone their way. I believe they've had a map before in the past, but I think if they head on to Split, it's been one of their best maps within the region, although it's been great for PRX. It is the perfect place to end it, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Already we're seeing Forsaken with an Odin, so Mitch already believes.
If there was a round to win, Tom, this would be the one. You know, normally on this map, you're going to have traps to play off, but there's not going to be those easy reveals to play around. Instead, it's more to do with spamming. And, well, you're going to have to get the head of Smoggy, and he's crouched down behind that box. It's not too easy for now. The suppressive fire really about to be tested, as if you fire away, that rocket will come right back at you, but somehow the rocket's done nothing. The show not stopped just yet. With damage onto Mindfreak, there's still a showstopper on Monyet once this ult fades. I like the spams, I like the attempt, but nothing's been found.
Oh, they've got Nightfall as well, but Smoggy's managed to dodge it, needs to hit the shot and won't be able to. In fact, Kong goes down instead. An advantage at this stage for PRX, but they still have to get back into the site. Chichu sprinting around, hasn't been isolated yet. It's left down to just one man, but that one man is Haodong. Getting that little bit more aggressive. He's using his opponent's util, even has the cam, and it's just about going to reveal. Knows that they're no longer on this diffuser, but desperately needs a kill, and he isn't going to be able to find it. That diffuser will come through, and PRX will live to fight another day.
Good, I was already calling in to the admins, change his name on that hood, take out the last 4 letters. All you need to say is how. Every time this guy's on the screen, it's just unbelievable, but this time, they put a stop to him. That's the first out of 5. 4 more needed. The side of PRX. And look, you have the showstopper there buying them the kill. Good
That wasn't
play
meant for Kong, by the way.
No, it wasn't. It was the player he'd already spotted, who was already dead at that point. It could have been a double kill. 4 in a row. Chichu's about to have ult online as well, but look how much PRX have in this round.
Launching smoke.
All it takes is one, but...
Oh, 1 eco from EDG, is it? That's all it takes.
Maybe. Monyet back on the judge, but that's not really been too much of a detriment for him. And I actually feel like it's fairly important for PRX to clear out that cam. Every piece of utility Haodong's had has had impact. Instead, though, it's the slow walk up. Looking to potentially get that orb online, as you mentioned, 1 away. I don't think there should be much. They'll be able to stop it at this stage. This is such a disgusting position for Monyet to play. I don't know how Haodong survives this time. Surely he should be dead to rights, but no! He hard checks him! He's prepared every single moment! And they've got that advantage again. Something he's going to try and make a hero play. Howdon goes running through and dies to his own teammate. If he made it through, you bet he probably gets a couple. And Devi holding the line on the other side. It's now a wraparound for EDG. Look where they are. 30 seconds left. They expected the B site to be open at this stage. They have to get the kill onto Devi, and he is low.
Well, with Chichu down, Devi really
Enemy remaining.
has it all stacked up once the spike falls. 16-second left. No chance for that to go their way on EDG's side. They have 3 more chances now to push this across the line. And we're starting to see different facets of PRX come online. This is what we were hoping for. But this guy just...
Look at this. So he gets orbital strikes by the opponent. He's like, I think there might have actually been a tiny pocket, but in
That's
that
easy
moment,
for us to see.
In that moment, he's like,
Yeah.
oh dear.
You know, if he had a cam where our observer was, he would have known
Yes,
there was a
yes.
safe gap. But
he also wouldn't have been able to move.
Probably would have had to jump and check it real quick. Wouldn't be ideal. But yeah, the double orbital strikes, they don't happen too often, creating a pocket
No,
like that.
no.
So understandable. 3 more chances for EDG. Rifles out again. So I'm expecting them to win whenever they eco, but it might be hard to even push them there. For PRX, same old buy. And it's the big gun in play. Forsaken with the opening.
Smoggy down. The flank coming in, but both battles have gone the way of EDG. Mind Freak needs a little more, but it's only going to be the one. Something and Forsaken. 2 players. 2 names that strike fear into the hearts of any opponent. Oh! Trying to get that wallbang through, but is getting dangerously close to a reload. I think he's even going to have to just fall back, give this one up for now.
Well, 10 bullets left, right? He had to pop that reload. But he's ready to fight again now. 100 bullets primed and ready. Something on the other side of the map as the flank comes down. He's going to take a while to get there, but Forsaken's not willing to give up the space. Now he's being spotted as he sees the cam turn towards, and this might be the end for him. He's being revealed, but good damage. That's deterred Howdong from actually taking the peak. It's allowed for that cam to be completely negated. The swing is good for something, and he spotted both players. A 1v2, 4 bullets now. And it's not looking good. This could be EDG pushing it across the line. Another dismiss into a heal, reload, and something's got a chance. No Lear to work with. The defuse being stuck to half, but the swing is perfect. And Con to close the map. 13-9. Map 3 is coming up next.
That's the thing. It was one of those maps where you feel like PRX, they tried to punch them in the face. That's what they tried to do.